So guys, you're welcome once again to Labor Forex. If you're seeing me for the first time, I am your number one solution to the problems you're having in Forex. And so if you have not subscribed to this channel, please make sure you subscribe. Okay, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it to your friends who are also willing to start making money in dollars. But then, like I always say, we don't rush. We take it simple, we take it easy, we make it practical, and we make it very explanatory, so you can learn and understand how to start trading professionally. So firstly, I understand that a lot of traders don't really understand how to do their technical analysis properly. Okay, firstly, before you start trading, there are certain things you need to put in check. Okay, I've told you this severally on most of my short videos. Firstly, you must take a notepad and a biro. Importantly, you start journaling what you want to do for that day. Okay, the currency pair you want to trade on is very important that you write it down. Okay, also you write down the date you're taking that trade, write down the amount of money you'll be putting in that trade, write down the pips you need to take on that trade, write down your lot size. Your lot size should always be capital divided by 5,000. Remember, I always tell you that it will give you the proper lot size. For instance, you have 500k in your account, or you have $500 in your account, and you want to trade on the $500. Just divide the 500 by 5,000. Whatever lot size is given is a proper lot size you're going to use to trade for that day. So journal everything you'll be doing. Okay, when you make losses in that trade, journal it. You make wins, journal it. Okay, it's important. So guys, quickly we'll be talking about how to identify trends in the market. I've said it in my previous video, but I'm going to explain it very easy and simple now again. The first thing you need to do as a trader once you come into the market, firstly go to myfxbook.com and check the news. Okay, or Forex Factory, check the news. I'm going to be teaching you specially on a different video how to check the news. Once you check the news and the time for the news, if you know you can't trade news, especially if the news is high, it's going to make a great impact on that currency pair. Please, at that point in time, 30 minutes to the news or an hour to the news, exit the market. Okay, make sure you understand the section you're going to be trading on. That's a different topic entirely. I'm going to be teaching you time zones and sections separately in a separate video. But for now, we'll be looking at the trend. Next, you need to check the trend of the market. That's the most important thing now too. So we'll be discussing about that. So for you to identify the trend of the market, you must at least go to your daily time frame to check the general trend of the market. Check the general trend of the market. The question now is, how do you know if the market is bullish or bearish? How do you know? Okay, remember, we don't trade with just candlesticks, we trade with structures. So you need to identify the fact that the structure at that particular time the trend is giving you is an uptrend or a downtrend. And how do you identify that? I keep telling you that you must identify at least 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows for an uptrend, and for a downtrend you must identify at least 2 lower lows and 2 lower highs. Now that is what I'm going to be explaining to you now. So please, like I said before, make sure you subscribe if you have not hit the subscribe button. Guys, let's move to the dashboard. Now, hold on. So let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Now, to identify that a market is in an uptrend, firstly, the market must have given you what we call change of character. Okay, probably the market was coming down, and you must identify a particular structure to know that at this point the market has done what? Has reversed its trend. And one of the things you need to identify is the fact that the market is going to correct itself. Let's say the market was coming down. Okay, so let's draw it so it will be clear and easy for us. So let's say the market was coming down, right? What will happen is the market gives us a new high, then comes down. Probably most times the market will just stop at the last low it has created, okay, giving us a double bottom. Then it will go up to give us a new high, okay, then come down to retest what? To retest the high it has broken. That's the previous high, okay, which is this particular point, right? This particular point. So when the market retests this point, the market goes up again to give us a new high, and then comes down to do what? Retest the new high. Now, like I told you, I said you must identify at least what? 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows for you to say, okay, at this point the market is what? Moving in an upward direction. And now, remember I told you that the market must be coming down at that point. It must have given us a high here and then comes down to give us a low. But remember that this was the last low it formed and this was the last high. When the market got to this particular low, the market could not break this point, right? The market could not break this point. Let me put it on. The market could not break this point, okay, which makes it what? A support zone, right? Which makes it a support zone. And like I always tell my students, always do what? You always buy at the support and you sell at the resistance zone, right? You buy at the support zone, you sell at the resistance zone. So once market gives you a structure like this, just know that at that point you need to cool down and watch. Don't enter the market immediately. Just watch, right? Watch the formation is going to give you. Now, this was the last high and this was the last low it created, but this low could not take this previous low away. So at this point the market reversed and took the high, the previous high, away. Okay, now when the market took the previous high, it created a new high here, then came back to retest the high it has broken. Are you seeing the point of retest? So the market came back to retest this particular point, right? To test this particular point of the market. I'm trying to give you something to identify this guy. Okay, so the market came to take this particular high away, okay, this particular point gave us a new high here, okay. At this point it gave us a new high. Let's clone that guy. Gave us a new high here, right? Good. So this is our first high, okay, and it gave us a new low down here. So this is our first what? Low it has created, okay. This is the first high and the first low to identify that, okay, at this point we have gotten our first high and we have gotten our first low. So we need to get another high that is higher than the previous high and the previous low, okay. So then the market now, from at this point, because it retested the previous low which it created, now the market now gave us a new high to this point, right? Good. So the market gave us a new high to this point. This is our new high and gave us a new low here. Good. So now this is our new low, right? Now we've been able to identify 2 higher highs, okay, and 2 what? Higher lows. Now why do we call these higher highs and higher lows? Now you can see that this was a low created, right? This was a high created rather, and then the market did what? Came down, went up and created another high. Now you can see that this high created newly, okay, is higher than the previous high that was created, okay, and then the high again that was created next is also higher than what? The previous high here that was created. And likewise the low here that was created at this particular point, let's put something here so it will be easy for us. Now you can see that this low that was created initially here gained another what? Another low here, but the low at this point is higher than the previous low, and then it created another low which is also higher than the previous low. So that is why we call at this point we say you must identify at least 2 higher highs and what? 2 higher lows. So we've identified one high, higher than the previous high, and another high higher than this previous high. So we've gotten 2 higher highs at this point and 2 higher lows at this point. Okay, another way to identify it is you take your trend line, okay, at this point draw the trend line to at least touch two of your points here, okay, it should touch at least two higher lows, okay, when you're drawing your trend line. And you see that the market keeps respecting your trend line until it breaks it and then probably change character and then correct itself and the trend will change. So now, guys, like I told you, these are some of the things you should see. In fact, this is the most important thing you should see on the higher time frame, especially your daily time frame, to identify that at this point the market is in an uptrend. I hope this is understood. I hope this is understood. Very easy, very simple. Okay, so we've gotten what? The first high, second high, first higher low, second higher low, right? So we have two higher highs and two higher lows. And remember, I just explained to you why it is called higher high and higher. So once you identify this, at this point, what you should be looking at this market is what? You should just be looking at buying, because the market at that point is the buyer's market and not the seller's market. So you must buy long and sell short. If you must sell, the sell will always come for a retest and then go up for a higher buy. So at this point, if you are trading on the lower time frame, let's say for those of you who trade 15 minutes, even though I don't recommend 15 minutes, 5 minutes, you should be looking at buying, right? And for those of us who trade for 1 hour, we look at buying long term. So guys, I hope this is understood. So likewise, we have the same thing happening in the downtrend, so but on the opposite direction. Now on the downtrend, how to identify that a market is completely on the downtrend? Remember, I told you must identify at least two lower lows and two lower highs. How do you do this? Now this is it. Okay, the market must be going up at that particular point, right? And then the market comes down, right? Then goes up again. At this point, the market would give us a new resistance because it cannot take away the previous high it formed. Okay, you see the market ranging at this point, or probably just hit this point and then come down, right? It will come down to take the previous low it has created, then go back to retest the low, come down again to take the previous low, and then go back to retest the low. Now, what do we mean by this? At this point, we say that the market is in a downtrend because we've gotten what? We've gotten our first low and we've gotten our second low. So two lower lows and we've gotten two lower highs. And just like I explained on the for the uptrend, on the downtrend, you can identify and see that at this point the market has created a point of resistance here. Okay, giving us a double top. Now it created a low at this point. Created a low at this point, but we need to identify two lower lows that are what? Lower than this guy. Now what happened is the market did what? Went up at this point. Okay, the market went up here, then came down to take this low, creating another low, right? And then it did what? Gave us another low. Oh, sorry, not that. Gave us another low here. Okay, gave us another low here. You can come in. Open, marvelous.
I've been here for like 20.
Can imagine. No, I'm not doing. Go, no problem. Don't worry. Go in. Go in. I'll cut this part. So now, at this point, the market gave us what? The market has given us two lows. Okay, you can see it has given us two lows, which are what? Lower than the previous low it formed. And why do we call it two lower lows? You can see that at this point the market created a low here, created another low lower than this low, and then created another low lower than the previous low. You can see. So now at this point we got the first low and we got the second low. So we've gotten two lower lows. Okay, and then same thing happened here. Same thing happened here. Let's clone this guy. The market gave us what? A point of resistance here, and then that's a high, and then came down to give us another high, right? This is our first, gave us another high, our first lower high, and then gave us the second lower high. You can see that the high here is lower. The high here is lower than the previous high, and this high is also lower than the previous high. So at this point, what do we say? We say that the market is totally in a downtrend, because we can also take your trend line and draw it and make sure it touches at least two of these guys. So now you can identify what a downtrend is and what an uptrend is. Is it a difficult thing? Very easy and very simple. These are the structures you should first of all identify before you know that actually the market is in a downtrend. At least what? Two lower lows and two lower highs. I hope this is clear. So guys, this is the first thing you need to know. Once you see this, what do you do? For a sell market, you should understand that sellers have taken over this market and they are doing what? You'll be buying, you'll be selling long and buying short on this market. In fact, I recommend that you just sell, okay, because at this point sellers have the market, not buyers. Sellers have the market, so you always sell the market. I hope this is understood from your lower time frame. Remember that you should identify this structure at least in your daily time frame, and for weekly time frame is also okay. Okay, so once you see this in your weekly time frame or your daily time frame, just be sure that at this point the buyers have the market. So you should be looking at your lower time frame for a buy or a sell. Okay, so guys, I hope this is understood. I hope this is understood. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section. I'm going to answer you, and where you're lacking or having issues, don't forget to let me know. And for those of you who might want to take a private class with me, I'm open for private classes. Okay, it's not free because I'm going to be taking a lot of my time to teach you, this, to know it properly and trade professionally. Don't forget to DM me and let me know. Send me an email, right? We are gonna get in touch and see how we can help you out to become very profitable in trading. So for now, I am just going to stop here. The next trade we are going in the next lectures or the next class I'm going to be taking, I'm going to be teaching you how to know when price has reversed. Okay, when the trend has reversed. Okay, we call it change of character. And I'm going to also teach you break of structure, how to know when a particular structure has been broken. So guys, we're going to be doing this in our next class. Keep subscribing, like this video, share the video. If you feel I have said something that you just learned newly, please don't forget to share this video and keep subscribing. I'm Leber Forex. Contact me just in case you have troubles. I am the solution to your forex trading. God bless you guys. Peace and love. Bye for now.